Bam! Okay guys, so here we go. A lot of you guys are just finding keto, and I've got videos on this already, but it's always kind of good to recap, like, you know, how much protein do you need to keto adapt? How do you get your glucose down? How many carbohydrates? But let's talk about actually your glucose. So a lot of you guys are having the early morning dawns effect. You might also have a little bit of insulin resistance. You could look fit on the outside, but you are not fit on the inside. So a lot of you guys are having glucose problems. So let me break this down. All right. If you just found the ketogenic diet, people do it because they think they can drop weight, but they don't think they can build muscle. So I'm just like, I'm going crazy because I gained 15 pounds of muscle in a year and a half on keto, and I'm 5'3". Mind you, I've been doing this for 8 years without refeeding or cheat days back onto carbohydrates not once. So I can really see the evolution of my own genetics, or as they say, epigenetics, to what happens on a long-term ketogenic protocol. So I'd already done it a few years, and bam, by eating some grass-fed beef, boom, my muscles just started packing on. So the before and afters are like, you know, this little dainty little girl, and then I just started getting bigger and growing more and more muscle. And I will be the age of 50 in 2017, which means next year. So let's talk about how to get the blood sugar down so you can freaking experience the benefits of ketogenesis. Now, the reason why it's spiked is because of prior damage. And people don't seem to understand that there's all this crap on the internet that you just like drop your fat down to, or sorry, up your fat up to 75% and 25% protein and 5% carbohydrates. And those, my friends, are the wrong macros. That's not how it works. Your protein is very, very complicated. It's very sensitive. What your body cannot digest and use, which is like around 9 to 10 grams of protein, right? How much your body can uptake post-workout and whatnot from real food, which you can't do powdered protein because it spikes your blood glucose and blocks your keto adaptation. So, you know, this crazy necessary need for all this protein becomes minimized because you become more anabolic, just for the simple fact that you are not catabolic because of gluconeogenesis. The reason why your blood sugar is spiking is because you probably had insulin resistance prior to ever doing keto, guys. That's a problem. That means staying up late, drinking alcohol, tons of caffeine, pushing yourself beyond measure in the workouts when you're freaking ass tired, and then the body has this negative feedback boop loop, and it starts to slow down. Your metabolism starts to slow down. Guys, you start to store that fat right there. It's right there in that little spot right there. And yeah, no matter what you do, no matter how much you diet, you just can't get rid of that little tire. And women, we start to have like estrogen dominance. It's starting to get cellulite in our ass, and you know, we're super pear shaped in the butt and thigh area. Here's the problem, guys. Your glucose is too high, which means your insulin is too high. And when your insulin is too high, it's going to store fat. I don't care. You can't drop your carbs on a ketogenic protocol and all of a sudden your glucose just drops. See, because if you're insulin resistant and your body is used to elevated levels of glucose, and you take out the carbs and it's stressed, it'll raise the glucose to diabetic high numbers on a ketogenic protocol. So in the bodybuilder world, they just have it so wrong, it's almost embarrassing. I've been coaching people with glucometers, not only testing their ketones, but also testing their glucose. If your glucose is high, ketones are unavailable. Ketones become unavailable for the body to use, and so when you pee on the stupid urine strips, it's like, it's turning purple, I'm in ketosis. No, you're not, because you are losing those ketones, very valuable ketones. So you have to drop that glucose to then drop, and I don't mean hypoglycemia. You have to drop the glucose to then drop the insulin, which is the storage hormone. Then you become insulin sensitive, so now the pancreas releases insulin, and a little bit of insulin does a great job of getting the amino acids into the muscle cells to grow without being constantly catabolic through gluconeogenesis from being dependent on carbohydrates. You have to get to bed early. Everybody thinks they sleep well, but you don't, because you have to reach REM state cycles, at least 3 a night. Okay, if you can't remember your dreams, you ain't dreaming. You're not repairing. People aren't asleep in that circadian window between 10 and 12. People over push themselves in a workout. They're just like, cardio, 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 cardio. That's not normal in nature, y'all. That ain't normal. So if you already have adrenal insufficiencies or you've been using pre-workouts, what do? They force your body to do a job that it's not equipped for, and that's why you freaking crash. You're losing B vitamins like you're losing blood, right? Through the stomach, losing B vitamins. And so you don't have the building materials to fix cells to even keto adapt. It's not simple for those who just chimed in and found keto. What if you have a gut dysbiosis? I say this in all my videos. Your gut candida, your SIBO, your small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, it creates an inflammatory response within the cells. Like, you know, the mucus line is being drilled into, and the body's like, what's going on? And you don't adapt. Too much protein is another reason why you don't adapt. Plant proteins and whey protein, garbage. Just eat real fatty meat. You guys, your protein's too high, because you keep hearing on the internet, yeah, ketogenic diet's high protein. What? Are you freaking tripping, yo? You can't even metabolize and use all that protein. If you want to grow muscle like I did, just adapt. Stop looking for the easy way. You can't cheat. You can't do alcohol. It makes you hypoglycemic. It gives you this false sense of adapting because your blood glucose plummets, but you don't test the glucose and ketones together consistently, because you'll start to notice a spike in your glucose, which is a spike in your insulin, and then you don't get lean because you're not adapting. It's not that simple. I just get frustrated because I keep seeing crap on the internet. I was like, why would somebody believe that? If it's that easy, then why isn't everybody freaking shredded? Why aren't they shredded? Why? Why? Why aren't they growing the quality muscle? Why am I at almost 50, I'm not taking anything exogenous? You know what I'm taking? You know what I'm freaking taking? Some lotion magnesium. That's all I do. And I get my potassium, my I can't even talk. I'm getting my electrolytes from potassium and from salts and from foods. Keto is not simple. If you think you're doing it for 10 days and you're adapting, you're not. Throw your urine strips away. They don't work, guys. That's ketones leaving the body. We want blood ketones. I've said it over and over and over again. I can't believe that 2016 is still talking about urine strips. What? Or breathalyzers. What? Get rid of it. You have to be disciplined. You have to follow circadian rhythm. You have to get your fats over 200. You got to get your stress down. Just any mental stress can spike your blood glucose. You got to go to bed early. You got to, do some diaphragmatic breathing. You have to ramp down your workouts before you ramp up, and you have to stop fasting, guys. It's dieting. If you're not eating, you're dieting. And if you have adrenal insufficiency, you're just making the thyroid worse. You know how many women are like, my hair's falling out? Why? I'm doing intermittent fasting and my hair's falling out. I'm like, that's your thyroid. Insufficiencies. If you guys want to learn more, I'll talk about it more. If you want to learn more, you can go to stephanieperson.com, Stephanie the Business Person, my Facebook fan page, Stephanie Ketogenic on my Instagram, Steph the Business on my Periscope to learn more about the talk I'm going to have in Sweden, October 1st. So for the Swedes out there, snälla kom och lyssna på mig. Prata om skillnad mellan SEHF och Keto. October 1st. So söker på min website att lära mer. Anyway, so for the rest of you guys, I'm talking in Sweden, Denmark, and Norway. You guys understand me. But if you want to learn more about how to drop your blood glucose and get rid of the early morning dawns effect and how you had insulin insufficiencies, get your fat up, y'all. Get the protein down. Better eat the fatty source of protein. Stop doing protein shakes and smoothies and juices and adding berries and having yogurt and having cream and nuts and caffeine and alcohol. Maybe you guys need to try that and get rid of that darn freaking leaky gut. Stop refeeding and you'll get in, and then you'll get the business.